Alright YouTube, what's happening? Got a new knife today. We're looking at the Summit Knife Company Half Dome frame lock, made by Fox Knives and designed by Summit Knife Company. Their Summit Knife Co. is founded on the principle of designing knives that can endure the most demanding of challenges. As avid mountain climbers, Summit Knife Company designs and names their knives based on the peaks they climb and conquer. So, this is the Half Dome. Very cool presentation, by the way. Nice box, but you got this cool, basically showing you this half dome that they've climbed. First ascent was in 1875 by George G. Anderson. It's in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Elevation of 8,839 feet. So pretty cool, pretty cool box comes in. And then you got this nice packaging, and then boom, you place the knife. So a lot of packaging going into this, a lot of it. So, these guys reached out to me and asked me to do a video on this knife, and I thought, at first I thought, micarta, scales, titanium frame lock, M390 steel, yeah, I'm on board for that, for sure. Love me some micarta. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see it's kind of a teeny knife. Love me some micarta, for sure. So, let's look at the specs on this guy. You got a 2.4 inch blade on this guy. M390, like I mentioned. You're looking at a blade width of 1.125 inches and overall length of 6 inches. They call it a reverse tanto blade. You can see that. It's got a little bit of reverse tanto going on there. It's a flat ground blade with a satin finish. And your handle length is 3.625 inches and your handle width is 1.4 inches thick. So pretty slim, and 2.47 ounces, so very light. It's a very small, lightweight knife. Very capable, though. I was actually super surprised by this knife. I've got to be honest. I've used it quite often, and I'm going to roll in some usage footage, some different things, just to kind of test things. Because when I first got it in my hand, I thought, this knife is not very ergonomic. It feels weird. What the heck's going on with this thing? It's a small, teeny knife. I mean, but the knife is designed to rest in your hand like so. That pinky finger being rested on the butt, right? And I thought, man, that is not going to be comfortable. So I decided, hey, I'm going to try it out. Before I dig on it, with the ergonomics and stuff, let's put it to some use. And come to find out, it's actually quite a capable little knife. So we'll get talking about that in a little bit. But let's talk about the basic things we like to talk about here, like fit and finish. First of all, it is well made. It is made by Fox Knives, which can be hit or miss. Most of the time good. Probably one of the better Italian manufacturers, but hit and miss. You know, this one's pretty nice. Got a nice titanium frame lock. Came nicely centered. It's got a good action, good lockup. No lock stick or anything like that. It does have a lock bar insert as well. Good detent on it. So everything about it's pretty decent. It's not, you know, gonna blow your mind or anything. It's not like Chris Reeve quality or anything, but it's good. And for the $175 price range, you know, it's definitely adequate. So pretty good fit and finish on these guys. Ergonomics are actually what's super surprising, and we're going to talk about this right now, is how ergonomic this knife actually is under use. It's crazy. Like, I don't know who designed this guy. It doesn't really say. Just Summit Knife Company. Maybe it was an Italian designer because they used Fox, or they maybe went Fox and because they got the best deal. I'm not sure, but yeah, they know what they're doing when they designed this knife. Handle looks super funky, right? It's sort of weird. It has this weird, like, just a strange shape to it, but it works. It works really well. In this grip here, with your finger up on the jimping and your pinky on the butt, it is super comfortable in the hand. Weird, small, but weird, you know? But one of the grips that really surprised me was the hammer grip, and using this knife in this grip to do some pretty hard cuts, and it did a pretty dang good job. Now, I will go back a little bit on fit and finish and tell you that the edge came horribly, not dull, but not sharp at all. So I did have to sharpen it, and I did find it was kind of difficult to sharpen this on the wicked edge because of how, I mean, it does have a sharpening tool here, ricasso right there, but it just comes back too far against the handle, and I had a hard time sharpening it on the wicked edge. If you used it on you know, a KME, I'm pretty sure you'd run into the same issue because your stones would be coming up real close against this frame. It's just a small little blade. Small blades can be kind of hard to sharpen sometimes on a fixed angle system. Freehand, you'd probably be fine. So just something that I will say about fit and finish that wasn't good. It came with a pretty dull edge. So some of the first tests I did on this knife, it didn't do very well. And I thought, you know, it's thin behind the edge. We'll talk about that in the sliceability. Remember it being pretty thin, but it just didn't cut very well. And I was like, you know, okay, it's pretty thin by the edge, so the edge geometry should be good. It's got good, you know, it just didn't. So I ended up sharpening it. I ended up putting put it on the wicked edge and give it a nice polished edge, and it's definitely sharp now. And I've used it quite a bit since then. Probably need to strop it a little bit, but it wouldn't even come close. I mean, this is just receipt paper, so this is really thin stuff, and it's all wrinkled and stuff, but it's cutting through that just fine. It wouldn't even slice like this kind of paper, like notepad paper. It wouldn't go through this at all. It would like just bind up on that. Now it's just going right through it, right? Before it was really bad. So I sharpened it and I put a good edge on it, and I think I did it at about 17 degrees. And it's now cutting very, very well. And then so some of the footage I have is before I sharpened it, some is after. And the after footage, it did a lot better. It went through cardboard a lot better. It did pretty good with rope once it got sharpened, and with the just carving on the stick, just kind of really do those cuts to kind of put some stress, you know, put this in a kind of a tight grip, and just to really see how the ergonomics are when it's under that kind of use. Now, is that applicable for this style of knife? Nah, not really, but you know, these guys are outdoorsmen when they designed this, so maybe they think, you know, maybe they want it to do things like that, and it actually did pretty well. It was pretty surprising. So aesthetics of the knife it's interesting. It's a different looking knife. I like it. I like the not carbon fiber, the micarta. I like the titanium. I actually love this micarta. It's really, really well done. Nice green micarta, just really good texturing. It's kind of a strange looking knife as well, but it's kind of cool. It's different. So aesthetics are nice on it. I actually really do like this. I find myself gravitating towards it and grabbing it a lot as like a knife to carry in my coin pocket. So the action is good. It's on phosphorus bronze washers, and I have put knife pivot lube on it. One thing I will say is when I got it, it wasn't the best action, but I've taken it apart and tuned it up a little bit, and now it's great. So no worries there. Good detail on it. Flicks out nicely with the middle finger with the opening hole, or you can obviously use your thumb, which I actually find that this is the best method to open it, with your middle finger. To thumb roll it is fine, but to use it to open like this, you kind of have, it's kind of an awkward motion because it comes down here so far and such a small handle. But for some reason, your index finger, man, it's just perfect. So good action, not bad at all. Sliceability, let's look at that. I want to say it's about 14 thousandths behind the edge, if memory serves me right. Well, that can't be right. Or we're getting much thinner. What the heck? I'm getting much thicker readings. I mean, I've sharpened it, but that shouldn't. Okay, so it's about 18 thousandths is what I'm getting now. 19 thousandths. So not as slicey as I thought it was. So not bad, you know, but not fantastic. Let's do some size comparisons. Here is the Half Dome and the Strider PT, which we'll have a review. Oh, helps if we're in frame. Strider PT and a Chris Reeve small Sabenza. Those are some good smaller knife comparisons. So it's smaller than both of those knives, and they're not very big. You know, let's just bring in this pair of 3 M390 real quick. Pair of 3 makes it look teeny. So it is pretty small though. So it's decently slicey. I may have. No, I mean I made it cut a lot better. So, but yeah, 18 thousandths behind the edge isn't bad. And it has that nice flat grind on it. So not a lot of edge to work with though. So it carries nice and deep. It's got this deep carry pocket clip. It's a nice wire clip. I really like wire clips quite a bit. I like the positioning of it. I mean, I don't think the lanyard hole is necessary, so they could have put it back even farther, but it works pretty well where it's positioned, and it does not really create a hot spot at all. I did find, as you'll see in the footage, a little bit of a hot spot up here when gripping the knife really hard right here. you're not going to use this little teeny knife for that kind of things. But it's nice to be able to test and find, you know, maybe the weak spots in the handle design or the ergonomics, you know, and under those kind of cuts. So, but yeah, value-wise, pretty good. I mean, 175. You get titanium. You get M390. It's a little small blade, but I think the value is pretty good on it. Not bad at all. You know, for the price, I think it's worth it for sure. Curious, I may have this tested for M390 as far as the heat treat on it and what the Rockwell is. You know, that's kind of going around right now. Everyone's kind of sending their blades in to get the Rockwell hardness done. I may try it on this just to see what Fox runs M390 at. Just curious more than anything. I may send it in here soon just to see. So what's the X factor? What's, you know, I don't know what it is, but I really like this little guy. I grab it all the time. I reach for it. It's lightweight. It's a perfect backup blade. It's perfect in the office blade. It's not threatening. It's cheapo friendly, and it still cuts things well. And it's kind of just a fun little fidget knife. And I'm a sucker for micarta, so that was a really good choice by them, because not a lot of companies bring micarta handle knives out. It's typically some sort of aftermarket scale you're putting on a knife if you're getting micarta. So I love that they did that. Definitely give it a thumbs up. So yeah, overall, I'm happy with this guy. I'll roll in some footage and we'll wrap it up. Alright, testing the half dome today. Seeing how the ergonomics are in a hammer cut or hammer grip. Just going to whittle on this stick a little bit. I don't know, whittle or feather stick or whatever you want to call it. I'm not the best feather sticker in the world, but oh. What I'm just trying to do is these kind of cuts can really show you how the knife feels ergonomically. Like, it's going to really test any hot spots. This is a really hard piece of wood here. And doing that, you can see it right there in my hand. Getting a little bit of a hot spot right there in that grip. Now this kind of cut, you're putting a lot of pressure. That's why fixed blades are what you should use for this kind of things, because typically the handles are built for this kind of task. But you know, this knife is kind of touted as, you know, with the Summit Knife Company and using it outdoors, and you know, it's kind of more how kind of it's marketed. So I wanted to just try it out and see, you know, for this kind of activity, if you're out in the woods or if this is the only knife you had on you and you had to carve some wood or get some feather sticks or whatever. This isn't really about making a perfect feather stick. This is more about testing the handle of the knife. And I can tell you, that same spot right there, you can see it on my hand. Doing that for an extended period of time, I'm eventually going to get a blister there. So I wouldn't use it for that type of task if you can avoid it. And if you're you're gonna feel that. Now let me try it in this grip here. So not a hammer grip. We're gonna you don't get as much force with this, but it's definitely more comfortable. You don't need a lot of force, but you are gonna feel that jimping. Oop, that almost cut my toe. You lose control. Like this grip, you get a lot more control when you're cutting. I mean, I've got complete control of this knife. It's not going anywhere. When I switch to this grip, you don't have as much control over the knife, and it kind of can move around a little bit more. But it does the job, and there's no hot spots on this grip. So if I was going to use it like this, that's the grip I would use. Over time, though, your thumb's going to feel that jimping pretty good, but it's going to lock it in. So this grip actually works pretty well. It's a small, really small. We're talking about a super small knife here. First of all, not the best knife for this kind of task at all, but it's good to test these kind of things, see how they perform ergonomically. So hammer grip does have a hot spot. Most Foley knives are going to, honestly, because of the pocket clip and just the way the handle is shaped. It's not going to be shaped like a fixed blade, but yeah. Let's see how this guy does now. And this pear. Now pears are pretty soft, especially this one, but I'm trying to just kind of skin it a little bit. very little effort to go through this. So we got it way sharp, and because it's so thin behind the edge, it's slicing up fruit really nicely. Just trying to get that, almost that layer of skin off. Edge is performing much better now that it's been sharpened. Yeah, I wouldn't even do that cut before, so I'm gonna bind up on that rope. That's the 1/2 inch rope too. Let's get this out of the way. I think we will stick with the cutting board actually. Here's the test though. Before I had it sharpened from the factory edge, it wasn't cutting cardboard well at all. Yeah, now it's slicing right through it. That double wall. In fact, it would bind like right there in the middle. I'm not tearing on that tape. It's because it wasn't sharp. So it's nice and thin behind the edge. So it should slice through cardboard fairly easily. Much better than I was doing before now that it's been sharpened. It's got a good edge on it. Alright guys, so as you can see, did pretty well in a lot of those little tasks for such a small little blade. Really shocked me how surprisingly comfortable it was to use. I really didn't think it would be. With this handle, when I first got it in my hand, I had to like sit and adjust my grip to get it to work. But you know, if you just kind of let it happen, it naturally goes that way. This grip especially is comfortable. It wasn't bad in the hammer grip as well, not at all. So overall, a cool little knife. I recommend it for the price point. There's also a full titanium version. It's going to be a little bit heavier and a little bit more expensive. Yeah, $225. So it's a $50 price upgrade. I would definitely just stick with the micarta one personally, and it also comes in black micarta, so you can get this green micarta and a nice black micarta, which is pretty cool. So a couple options there. I would definitely rock a micarta model. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video on the Half Dome by Summit Knife Company. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. See you next time.